Hello, I'm Dr. Tom Groover, and I'm here with Merrily Mazza, who is a proponent of the Colorado Community Rights Amendment for the right to local community self-government. And she's also a major organizer of the uh, campaign committee for this amendment. Welcome, Merrily.
Thank you.
Yes. There's been some new development with our amendment, and I'm also a part of the amendment campaign committee. And it was approved finally by through the whole process of state review and the appeals by certain private individuals. So, can you explain where we are now?
Yes, I can. Well, the ballot initiative has gone through two rounds with the Secretary of State Title Board, and it was disputed at both sessions by two individuals who claim to be representing themselves, but they're actually part of the Colorado Petroleum Association and Colorado Petroleum Council. The title board stuck with their decision. They said that our ballot initiative meets the single subject requirement in Colorado, and they set ballot title for it. And the same two individuals then appealed the title board decisions to the Colorado Supreme Court. So the Colorado Supreme Court just ruled, and they affirmed the decision of the Secretary of State Title Board. So we are ready to start petitioning. We're formatting petitions even as we speak, and they'll be printed probably within the week, and we'll be ready to hit the streets.
Yes. And, I think it's clear to me that these people who opposed our amendment and contested it all the way through had every intention of delaying this petitioning campaign. So we have some time. We're going to be turning in our petitions in August.
Correct.
Yes.
I believe
And
it's the first week of August. It's either the 6th or the 8th, and we'll confirm that. That's the deadline. So we have until then. And we have a good part of the spring and summer, which is great in Colorado. A lot of street festivals and fun events to get signatures at. So that's our plan, to do most of our signature gathering at local events throughout Colorado.
yes. And so, can we talk a little bit about the need for the amendment and just kind of what the amendment does now?
Sure. The amendment guarantees local communities the right to local community self-government. That is, to make laws to protect residents' health, safety, and welfare, and prevent those laws from being preempted by the state. And so it elevates community decision making over the decision making of business entities and corporations who currently seem to have special legal privileges. And it says no, the people who actually experience the impacts are the ones that get to decide. And that could apply to oil and gas development. It could apply to setting a minimum wage. It could apply to factory farming. It could apply to chemical use in mining, which happened in the 90s in Summit County and other counties in the mountains. So it really gives local communities the option to decide for themselves what they wish to allow in their local community. It doesn't ban anything. It gives communities the right to decide.
Yes, and why are we doing this? The reason I see that I'm interested in doing it is because it gets at the root of the problem of almost all environmental or social, economic single issues. And that is that the actual people don't have a role in the decision making, that the whole economy, the government, the laws, the environment, everything is being controlled and run by an elite group of people who have a huge vested interest in the resources that they're exploiting from the environment and from the labor force.
Correct, absolutely. And the people who experience or suffer the impacts are the ones that have no say at all. And we're saying that's not acceptable. It's a democracy problem. It's not a problem of we need more regulation. People have tried that to no avail. It says, let's get to the root of the problem. And the root of the problem is basically a democracy issue, as we all know in the movement.
Yes. Well, this is great to talk to you about this. And so now, what can people do to get involved in this campaign? Because I can't overemphasize the need for this now at this time. This amendment is what we call rights-based law. It talks about how communities can define their inalienable rights to things like clean air, clean water, freedom from chemical trespass, the right to peacefully enjoy their home, the right to local self-government,
Yes.
and these rights are all pretty much guaranteed in the existing Colorado Constitution. So we're
Yeah,
not really doing
interesting.
anything radical. All we're doing is utilizing the right to local community self-government as specified in the Bill of Rights of the Colorado Constitution.
Absolutely.
But when communities try and do that, and we've seen this in places like Fort Collins and Longmont, where they voted and democratically elected bans on the fracking technology in their communities, they were preempted, or they're being preempted by the state, using the Colorado Oil and Gas Act as a preemptive law, which makes the fracking industry a state matter and no longer a local matter which can be banned or regulated by local communities. So what we're trying to do is restore local democracy into the place where it matters the most. Right now, that local democracy we're being told that that's not legal.
Correct. And we're restoring it to the place that matters most, which is the place where all of us live.
Yeah, and when we say restoring, there's a proud heritage in the early founding of this country where local communities practiced exactly what we're talking about. It was the standard of the time at the time the Declaration of Independence was written. And those rights have been stripped away. There have been movements to try and bring those rights back, to allow us to establish home rule communities here in Colorado and become involved in direct democracy through the initiative process. But the state and the judicial rulings have been made in such a way that they totally favor the corporations over the local communities, and case law has stripped away that legal right to local self-government. So we need to reaffirm that, reassert that in law, and start the argument again, and to make it based on inalienable rights. And there's just one thing that happens every now and then with people in the community when we talk about what we're doing. They have objections because they think we're trying to create a completely out of control situation where communities can declare rights to anything and enforce them. Can you speak a little bit about that?
Sure. That it specifically says that communities can pass laws protecting residents' health, safety, and welfare if they choose to do so. Some communities may not. They may opt for other issues, or they may opt not to get involved in this. So it really is very focused on those particular issues, health, safety, and welfare. And it says the people experience the impact are the ones who have the right to decide. Is this what we want our local community to look at? Or is this what we want our local community to look like? Is this what we want to allow here? That's democracy in action, Tom.
Thanks, Merrily. So now, let's tell people how they can get a hold of us now and get involved in the campaign.
Absolutely. They can go on our website, Coloradans, COLORADANS, for community rights. There's a volunteer button.
That's a .org.
Volunteer.
That's a .org.
.org,
Yeah,
right.
Coloradans for Community Rights.org.
.org.
Yeah.
And you can volunteer on the site, sign up to be a petitioner. We will be contacting people very soon. We're doing training right now. There's a state requirement to do petitioning training. It takes about 20 minutes. It's quite easy, and we can do it by webinar. And we'll be contacting people. We'll be getting out to festivals. So right now is exactly the right time to get involved and help out in this effort in your community.
Well, thank you very much. And so when you go to Coloradans for Community Rights, that's a plural, rights.org,
Yes.
not only can you volunteer, but find out about what we're doing. Read some of the stuff that's on the website, and you'll see that there's also a donate button there. And feel free to use it. Okay, we
Absolutely.
are in the process of printing up petitions, and I know that Merrily did the budget on how much just to print the petitions will be, and it's a lot of money. We're not big money bags here. This is a completely volunteer effort. This could be the
It is.
largest volunteer state initiative in history.
Yes, it's the largest grassroots movement. And we have volunteers all over the state of Colorado, and we need help from every single Colorado community.
So we're looking forward to getting to know everyone in Colorado. You'll certainly see us out there getting signatures, and just remember, it's the Colorado Community Rights Amendment, the right to local self-government. Don't confuse us with any other amendments. We're the one. Be sure
We're
and
the
sign the
one. We're
petition.
the real deal.
We're the real deal. Help us sign that thing, get it turned in, and let's get it on the ballot in 2016 so we'll have a choice. We can choose to allow our communities to declare their rights to local community self-government, to practice local democracy, and protect their own health, safety, and welfare from corporate and government harm.
Absolutely. And that's where we want democracy in the communities that we're living in.
Thank you, Merrily.
Thank you, Tom.